Okay, good morning traders. Welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We're going to go through the live forward-looking order flow analysis in Bookmap and also look for some trading opportunities. Any trades taken in Book will be in demo paper trading mode and only for educational purposes. Okay, general disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's take a look here and see what's going on. Just looking here immediately at the order flow in the S&P E-mini. Now this is the All Markets webinar. So if you guys want to look at something else, let me know, and we can do that. Typically we start here and focus on the S&P. That's what most people want. So let's do that. All right. So here we had our data from earlier this morning. We had the what was it? The consumer confidence, and you can see that not so confident from the knee jerk reaction here to the downside. I'm going to take the stops and icebergs off the chart. We do have it in the sub chart here, and a lot of people are getting stopped out right now. But let's just take it. I want to take it off the chart so we can look a little further in detail here. More clarity. Yesterday we went over the footprint chart in detail. So if you guys have any questions on that, then it should be great. Go watch this this webinar recording. Okay, KJ, all right, that's a good comment. You will be here. Okay. Okay. Go. All right. Okay. Let's jump in here. After the data, look at this pretty strong move here to the upside. The knee-jerk reaction. Here you can see this pretty severe sell-off. Now went into the high liquidity here, and we'll zoom vertically here. And just get a feel for this, guys. I mean, when you start to look at your data releases, your economic releases, this is Bookmap can be really helpful for you. There's a lot of different reasons or ways to use this data for your advantage here. Let's hold on just a minute here and get to the chat. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Stephen. Just all you have to do is start to outline. I mean, traders are telling us what they think the S&P is worth before the data release. And now they pulled up here at 5150, and down here they stayed in the order book. Okay? Someone was telling us 5130, I will stay in the order book. I want to get filled here. I'm willing to be a pretty big buyer at that level and get filled, or maybe they're covering their position. Does not matter. This is it's understanding these players in here, and they're telling us what they think it's worth. Okay, this even works better in stocks. If you go over and you look at like Microsoft or Apple or whatever it is, these larger players, they just stay in the order book. And they're telling you, I will be a buyer here at 98, 97. I will be a seller up here at 03. Okay, watch price go up into those areas or down into those areas, and they'll typically these players stay in the order book. So this one for Microsoft, for example, well, they bought it up. It went a little bit further below it, but it's been bouncing ever since, and has really not gone lower below that 400, or what is it, 399 a price level here. Okay, it's kind of bouncing around that area. Anyway, that's something really good to understand for us, so that we can understand what where to place our orders. In fact, maybe you're in a position, or maybe you're speculating and jumping into position, and or maybe you're going to place your limit buy down here, or other areas like down here. Or if you start to see more liquidity start to come in down here, and you start to see some buyers, well, maybe you can get in and then trade it back up to this 30 level here. Okay, so just some very simple ideas in here by looking at the order flow and where a price might go. Here's another area down here, just ahead of the big figure of 5100, and start to understand this relationship and context with an extreme event here of data. All right. Okay. I took some trades earlier, so we can go through some of those ideas in here. I was actually in a meeting during the release, and I could not look at my position, but this is what I did. I want to go through it quickly in here, and then we'll go through our bigger picture approach, because I want you guys to start to test through trading in Bookmap. Is Robbed in here today, for example? Not Rob Davis, but Robbed from the Bookmap Academy. The reason that I bring him up is he has found his own strategy that he resonates with him, and he is now trading it. But we should forward test these strategies, do it in simulation mode, and then if it starts to work for you, start to collect data, you start to collect understanding, and get a feel for what works, what doesn't, how many points does it go against you, etc. That's where the rubber is going to meet the road. Now you have something. Now you can also use replay mode for that. I highly recommend it. We had a webinar with Carmine. He went through that idea as well, Carmine Rosado, and using that replay mode is really, really good. In fact, maybe we'll even have a special webinar with Robbed, and he can discuss a little bit about that, because he used that replay mode as well. Well, that'll be for the Bookmap Academy guys. Anyway, this was something that I saw, and this was my criteria. Okay, I took a trade, and so here we see the move to the upside, high liquidity, a low volume pullback here by the sellers, a move back up, made a higher high, pulling back again, made a lower low in here. However, and we know there's data ahead, but this is where I started to see my criteria unfold. I am looking for this transition between from sellers in this little area on the move down here to buyers, and I'm going with the bigger trend in here. Now, that's another one. Rob does use this as well. Go in and use your setups checklist here. Make your own checklist. Here, this is a great tool to utilize here. Make your own. What are you looking for? Check it off if it shows up, and then you can grade it. You can score it in here. And if an 8 or better is what you're looking for, and if you get it, then you take the trade. Okay, this will keep you out of a lot of trades. So, for example, this is what I did. All right, so we see this move to the downside in here. Sellers, we know that the buyers are in control in the bigger picture, at least on this time frame. And then sellers starting to note some buying coming in here. Okay, pockets of buying. Okay, equal high here, an equal low here. And I see exhaustion here. That's it for me. I'm in. All right, I'm looking now for here and you can see I had two positions on, and I moved, you can see them here. So I moved my first take profit just at the same level here, and it came a tick away, basically, and didn't fill me. So that's fine. I'm still in it, and then it goes back and forth in here, and then again, some selling down here, some exhaustion in here, or lack of selling on a retest. Buyers start to come in, hits my first take profit up here. Okay, I'm out one position, I'm still in the other. Okay, my break even had gone down here, and then actually I had all the criteria here still looking pretty good. Buyers here, sellers bring it down, but buyers back in here. I got back in again. All right, so now I went from 2 to 1 position because I exited. I added another in here at a higher level than my entry here, because I am anticipating a move back up into this liquidity up in here. Okay, a measured move of that, in fact. So something like this. Okay, that's our, if this is our level, I'm sorry, our zone, then I would be looking for a move up into 45. So what happened? Well, one more shift to the downside, and I got stopped out on that final contract. And then I started to note, though, like, all right, well, we're still starting to see some buying come back in here. And that's where I got back in again. Okay. And then still looking for it to trade up to this level up in here, and then to take some off at the top of the range again. Okay, because I'm in this range, I'm at the bottom of the range more or less. A little confirmation here from the buy side, and then I take some out here. Okay, now look what it did. Okay, it did exactly what I was looking for in here. And this is where I did not have my second take profit in line. And the data hit. All right, so I should have had my second take profit up by my measured move. Instead, though, like I got filled here. This is an error. Actually, I need to talk to developers on that. Anyway, that was my trading decisions. I should have been out before the data. Absolutely. Okay. I should have put my take profit up by my measured move up in here. All right. Now, the P&L here doesn't, don't worry about that. There's another, this was really more or less kind of break even type of activity. It was a small profit. But then this is what I saw. All right. Now, again, doesn't matter what I think, or what's my strategy. What's important here is the criteria. Okay, this is what's going to help anybody else. That's if they can go through the process. You might not agree with the trading strategy. That's totally fine. Just make sure you have you have criteria for your trading strategy. All right, so here we have the cash open. We had this huge move to the downside, but what I'm starting to notice buyers again. Okay, so I know that as well, like in this area in here, it did not auction very well. Okay, so it just kind of cut through this area in here and never auctioned really in here. These are your single prints in here. So I'm looking for it to retest back up into these areas up in here. All right, so I see tremendous buying coming in. Right, this is where I'm looking for my flag pattern. Okay, so I know I see buyers. I see them trade into high liquidity here. We pull back. I'm seeing more buyers break the high. We get a pullback. I see buyers come in. Boom, I'm in. I move my take profit. Well, I kind of moved it down a little late here, but just in front of that liquidity here. And then you can see that the stop run is here. Okay, it didn't fill me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to move it down. So I moved it down to that level and then got filled. Okay, so some very, very simple ideas in here. Now, this flag pattern and this criteria in here is on our learning center, right? So if you guys are interested in that, this is where you go. Bookmap.com, click on education here, and then strategies and setups here. Okay? The continuation pattern, flag pattern, is right here. And we have it in a diagram form, we have it in Bookmap, and then we have it in with the execution and the checklist. Okay, so it's all there. You should go through it. We also have a reversal pattern here with the head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. Don't worry about the name of the pattern and the setup and all that kind of stuff. It's all about the context of the buyers and sellers and the order flow in here. That's going to give us the insight. So for example, in this setup here, then we see a transition. Now, I keep on mentioning this transition again and again, a shift in the volume and the order flow. High liquidity on the bid getting filled, pockets of buying coming in. Okay, making slightly lower lows or equal highs here, but lots of buyers here. Now you have a low volume pullback. Now we're looking for buyers to come back in again here, and then that's where you can take a pretty aggressive entry actually, and try to trade it up to at least here. Take some off. If you see more buying, maybe you don't want to take it off. Maybe you want to take some off, look for another pullback, and look for continuation. Watch the video; it'll explain it. All right. Okay. So any questions so far on any of this stuff? No. Okay. Good morning, Caesar. All right. Question to Stephen. Stephen, are you forward trading with your some of the strategies you're looking at? Okay, not just you can use. I mean, I know that you're trading, so and you can trade small in their forward testing, but I really want to hit on this point. I think it's really important. This is how you can build out your trading strategy and look for something that is more likely to unfold. You will have within a few days, or like let's say a week or a month, you will have multiple instances. You'll have maybe 30 end of the month. So this will help you tremendously. Okay, now, and Rob, this is also geared towards you to consider going through that criteria, understanding all of this in the background here, and then looking for what's going to kind of kick it off here. So for example, right now, look at all the volume up in here. Look at the volume here. Okay, here come our buyers here. All right, so now do we have enough buyers? Now this would be a higher time frame flag pattern in here. Okay, so this would be kind of like lots of buyers back and forth, a lot of buyers at these highs in here. Okay, so now we're looking for something in this criteria in here, and let's just go through it. Do we see something in here that justifies this? Okay, so we just made a slightly lower high, and we don't see a whole lot of volume there. All right, so now there's a few different, and look at the offer in here. Okay, pretty strong, pretty aggressive at a lower level in here. Yeah, that's not part of my criteria. The here and the now part, there was a question about this yesterday. Not understanding, well, should I buy, should I sell? Because you're looking at this right here. You're not putting all of this into context. Okay, and that's required. Okay, now look here, we trade into high liquidity here, we bounce, but look at the bounce. Look at this volume in here compared to this volume here. This is where the rubber is going to meet the road. Okay, and we made a slightly higher high or slightly lower high, and I don't see a whole lot of volume here on the buy side. In fact, I see more sellers in here. Okay, let's look at the bars down here as well, a different visualization here. Okay, so it's kind of back and forth in here. This is not what we're looking for. What about the order book? Is it what we're looking for? Well, this is good that we see this liquidity got filled here, but this is a lot of selling liquidity up here, a lot of supply. We want to see a strong bid, not strong supply here on the offer. Okay, so we're not ready for this yet. This trade idea of coming back up into this area in here, I don't think we're ready for it. I don't see an edge here. Okay, by forward testing this, using replay mode and forward testing it, is how you're going to start to build out that criteria. Right, this is really important. So once you start to build out that criteria for your trade, you'll know exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so now look at this here. High liquidity just came in the order book, big skew, right? Do we find buyers? Well, let's see. Okay, in fact, we could even try to scalp this here just for kicks, and I'll put a buy stop here and let it carry me into this trade, and then try to get out maybe at the top of the range here. Okay, due to what? Only due to this factor here. Really, it's this liquidity here on the bid, and I'm looking for it to scare away the sellers. It is not right now. It is not. In fact, they're trading in. There's the transaction. Okay, do we find buyers after that? Okay, is this high probability? Not really. Not really at all. It's not even really good for a scalp. Therefore, I'm going to cancel this trade. Okay, I'm going to use my center mouse wheel and then use it as a button, and then I click on that order. All right, now it might work out, but I don't have all of the pieces aligned in my criteria to justify that. Okay, if the reaction was to this high liquidity in here, a big green dot, and I see them starting to pull up here, I have a lot more justification for that idea. It's also possible it could trade into this, but I need to see those buyers come in on the other side here. Right, so that's what will filter your trades and keep you away from making less probable trading activity here. Let's see here, Caesar, what are you talking about? A different approach or anything to glean from hot dog orders that seem to be popping up again and again. That's pretty funny, the hot dog. So this is your hot dog here, the meat, and then the bun on the sides. Let's zoom into this. I want to show this actually because it's kind of important. How Bookmap is displaying this and what it's actually doing here. It's a big feature in Bookmap. Okay, see, you can see the hot dog now, right? If we zoom in here, this is actually what's going on. It's really this level here, and there's a little bit of liquidity up and above and below here. Right? Why does it do this? Well, let's go to right click here and go to heat map settings. Why it is doing that when we zoom out and looks like a hot dog here. Okay, why it looks like this? It looks like 3 levels of liquidity when we know that's really not the truth. Okay, but we're still getting pretty good insight here, zoomed out like this, and it's due to the vertical smoothing here in the heat map. Okay, this is a real big feature. It works extremely well on stocks, but it also works very well on the futures. So let's put it on none. Okay, see how now we're looking at the true levels in here, but it's kind of hard to read, right? So here on auto, we see a smoothing effect, a Gaussian blur, and it's that kind of blurring effect that gives it that feel. All right, you can also manually do this, and you can really skew it, if you want. I don't think that's too helpful, but you might find it for some reason. I keep it on auto and I leave it like that. I just want to cover that element though. It's important. Okay, so now look what we saw here, and we kind of missed this now because we traded in that high liquidity, the exhaustion, sellers come back in, and then sellers are now driving that market. Okay, we're going to see a huge stop run here. You can see it down below, and then that's it. So all of this in here is like a failure on the buy side. Okay, they're getting stopped out down in here. Okay, so very curious to see what you should get a little bounce around this area here. We are at the moment, and we also see higher liquidity down here. Yeah, makes sense, Caesar. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, it's really good. Now, if you really want the understanding of it as well, you can use the hover over tool, and it says on the bid here 425, 424. Then here's 167, or and then here's 168 or so. Okay, so you can really see those details as well. All right, so here comes our bounce now. And why am I looking for a bounce at this time? Okay, and we'll take a look at this volume in here. It's still a low volume pullback. So we'll probably see another move to the low here. But we see high liquidity getting filled on the way down, and we're going to see some buyers come back in and move it back up into the range here. All right, so let's see. We kind of bypassed our day trading preparation plan. Let me bring it over. Take a look here. Okay, the top-down approach, fundamentals, big picture. We looked at the economic calendar, a geopolitical environment as well, technical picture. Okay, so we saw the move down. We saw a lot of that buying come back in, and we just saw it fail. Okay, and now let's look at our bigger picture. That's more the order flow look, but the bigger picture here. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, if you've got lots of data in Bookmap, you can zoom out and take a look at it. I start my Bookmap in the morning, and then take it from there. So then I just look at bigger picture. I use very simple candlestick chart to understand what's going on. Here's the daily, and you can see we're very much an inside day here from yesterday. And yesterday it was kind of a tricky day. I'll show my trading journal in just a little bit. Yeah, I kind of got a little hacked up yesterday, and we were looking for it to be a choppy day. We knew that going into the day. Now we saw this kind of move back, just kind of tested outside, and then it came back in. And then it was just kind of back and forth in here. What about today? Well, we're still within that range in here. Okay. So what about trading back down? Let's see if we can trade back down to this 51.21. Do we see momentum? I think we have some here on the daily. I think we're starting to see some on the hourly here. And on the 15-minute, well, we're just trading into these wicks here. But this is now the third time down here. Okay, so we'll see here. I'm actually looking for more sellers to try to trade it back down to maybe the low here. Okay, so let's take a look for that. Okay, that's the bigger picture. Right. So if that is the case, and the sellers took control here, Okay, let's go through some criteria, some trade structure in here. Sellers come in, they've moved it down, and then so we're going to be looking for a potential pullback, maybe up to this level up in here. Okay, maybe 31, maybe 33, where it dropped from, or maybe this is it. Maybe this is as much as we get. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Now, this is going to mess up my journal. I'm okay with that for now, but I want to show it to you, you guys. So we're going to get in here. Okay, I'm going to move my stops, widen them out, and I'm going to place more orders though too. Okay, one up here, and then also one up here. Okay, now I got in, but this is only a third or maybe a fourth of my position. Okay, because I'm looking for sellers to be in control in this area here. So pullbacks is just a better entry. With this kind of momentum, I might not get that. All right, so if that is the case, then we're going to get a pullback. Okay, but I want to be a seller in all of these areas in here, from this area on down. Okay, now we have a smaller range here. Okay, so that's why I put this order up here. Probably drop it down a little bit. Right. Any questions on this? It's a really simple idea, and what this will allow you to do, and I'm not advocating, it's not a trade recommendation here, but is to get a feel for how the markets work, how they move. Okay, so here they come. Here come the buyers to fill us. Okay, now we're filled. All right, so now I have two. Did I have? I have two on, and I can move that up. All right, so what did I do here? Okay, let me move that one out. Okay, so yeah, I kind of messed that up. Here we'll put our limit sell in here, up here as well. Okay, all right, so now on this, trading this little range in here, okay, looking for the breakout down here because maybe that's all we got. Okay, but now I'm trading this range in here. Okay, let me kind of move this out a little bit more. I am trading this range in here. Okay, here's the bigger range though. Okay, just getting a feel for it, and I'm doing this through forward testing. Okay, in simulation mode. It is this range in here where sellers took control of this market and moved it away from all of this up here. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Now we're going to see if we can make some money out of this here. Okay, now we might get stopped out, might come back up, and it might auction back up here, and we might get a breakout. Okay, but this is in line though with our bigger picture. Now this is more of a trade management technique or tool here. Our criteria is for this idea is not the strongest in here. Okay, but the criteria is sellers drove that market lower, and we have higher time frame alignment. We are anticipating pullbacks, and we're getting them. Okay, so it's coming back up to our order up here. And then let's see if we can get filled up here. And then we'll have 3 positions on. Okay, and we'll still have one more bullet left after that. Okay, maybe we can put on 4 altogether. Now, we're doing this with limit orders in simulation. Again, not a trade recommendation. It's just to go through this concept in here. And we'll see how well this works. The beauty, though, here is that you guys can use, we have the opportunity to use micros, and you can get filled in these areas in here and keep your hand in the game while forward testing here, okay, in sim, right? And then from this, then maybe you will think like, well, you know what, this was a strong move. I don't think I should be putting on this order in here. I'm going to wait for a pullback. This is a pretty good trade idea. Okay, wait for that pullback here. Okay, or maybe you see the strength come in here on the buy side and the exhaustion down here. Well, maybe you're like, you know, I'm actually seeing criteria for a potential reversal here. Okay, and that's not what I'm looking for. So maybe then you pull that order here and you put it up here, and you're looking for a measured move, which is about right, up into about here. And then you're looking for your exhaustion up in here on the buy side, or a stop run, failure, come back in the range, sellers, and then the drive back down to into this range here. All right. So a lot of ways to kind of slice and dice this here. Okay. What we're talking about here is really not so much about the criteria. We're talking about risk management. Okay, and that's why I'm going through it here. Okay, so we're getting filled there, and again, I'm moving these stops up here. Okay, so now this should be a stop run. It is. Okay, but now we're looking for sellers still to remain in control. Okay, so we're looking for this to fail here and then come back into the range. All right, this might take some time to work out, but that is the idea, okay? And that is the trade management idea as well. Okay, and we'll see. All right. See if there's any questions. Would I place a buy limit order at 51.24? Because of the liquidity. Well, yeah, you can see my buy limit is there actually by default. I'm going to move it up just a little bit. It's the from the bracketed order here. Okay, pretty strong buying actually, and it's through our measured move here, and still kind of searching, exploring higher. This is where it dropped from really up here. Okay, so this is where we're looking for, and you can see, you know, you got your low volume node here as well. And heck, you know, it might come right back up here in auction up here. There's a lot of buying up here. We've seen this so many times. Okay, but we're going through this idea in here about managing it within the range here. Any idea on Intel today? Didn't look at it. Glad. We can add it in. Okay, our idea isn't working out. As you guys can see, we're above this area here, and we see buyers above it. I was fine to see a stop run here and have it fail and come back in, but buyers are still buying here. And is this the low volume pullback? Not really. You can see some pretty strong buying in here, right? So We're not going to be able to demo this concept very well here today. Okay, so maybe it just pulls back to this high volume node in here. Maybe that's what it tests and then fails. If that's the case, I'll give myself maybe a little bit more leeway here and see if we can make that work. Yeah, range day. No, bailout, Rondo. I know. I mean, we wanted to go through this concept here of trading in a range. In fact, we could take this much further. We could say the range is actually here. Can show you trading journal from yesterday. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so yeah, here's the trading journal. If you guys haven't signed up for this, it is in beta, but it will be released soon, very soon. So let's see here. We can go with yesterday, and yeah, just a small gainer from yesterday, and then that's it, right? This was we had this kind of move. I think this was during the webinar. No, this was in the afternoon. I had some losers actually in the afternoon, and kind of chopped around and came back. We're going to get stopped out here. Look at this. Look at this thing. Wow. Should we move it? Should we try to trade the bigger range here? We can do that. So we can do one more bullet up here, right? So, but the idea is the same here. We were just looking for that smaller range down here. Okay, let's try it. Let's see. Okay, because we're going to give it a lot of leeway in here, and we're going to look at our bigger picture as well. Hold on. Okay, and take a look at this. Okay, so our bigger picture here was we were looking for the breakdown here because we had come down here a third time for today. I'm looking for it to break. Okay, we saw the daily also looked like it had some momentum. It looked like the hourly also had some momentum, and that has reversed. But we're back up into these wicks up in here. Okay, so I'm looking for sellers up in here, right? So maybe around this 41-ish, 42, somewhere around this 40 to 41 area up in here. That's where we're looking for sellers. We had sellers before. Okay, we're still looking for sellers up in here. It's rejected a bunch of times. Okay, so now we're looking for the same thing up in here. Now we can see that we're getting a bit of a pullback in here. I don't know if it's just a pullback, low volume pullback on the sell side, and we see more buyers come back up and trade into and maybe even fill the gap up into here. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, it kind of looks like a low volume pullback here. Okay, let's put some structure on this and we'll see. Okay, we got a high volume node. We traded a bit through it here. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to stop doing that. And this has happened to us a few times. It's worked out a few times for us here, this trade management concept of only trading within this zone in here. And we just kind of extrapolate it to a bigger zone now. But it's to start to understand, like, you're positioning yourself. You're not trying to call a bottom or a top or anything like that. You're positioning yourself within the price action. You're averaging it in. That's what I'm trying to go over here. And today is just not is working against us here. But if we just extrapolate it out to a bigger picture, then this would be the way to do it. Your trading statistics, sure, Rob. So just go to your add-ons in here, and you should be able to add your it here if you don't see it on the add-ons, and then okay. So I actually am using a special one because it has to you install it here, basically available for install, and then once you install it, it'll be up above in here. But I'm not going to install this one because it won't work with the trading journal. Right. So anyway, that's how you install it. Once you got it, then you open it up here. These are the settings that I have. I haven't really played around with this too much, but we can open it up here and take a look at it. Right, our stats window here. Okay, so we can see our metrics. Okay, so our running P&L, our P&L, our most important, I think, are these ones here. These are really excellent to see your maximum adverse excursions, maximum adverse excursion after the trade. Okay, you will only see that after the trade, and then favorable excursions, and then post favorable excursions as well. Okay, so how well did you do here? Did you nail it or not? Right. Yeah, you can see that this was at the data here. The post was that 48 here, but you know, I got out of it. So this one's hurting us clearly, but anyway, that's what we've got. There's you know, it's being built out as we speak, and you do need to keep this window open. Okay, like I think you can close it here, but you need to keep it open here. That's for sure. You cannot deselect it here, right? And you've got the columns in here, your data. You've got a whole bunch of things in here to go through. This is where the version I have here is, let's see what version, 2.0.3. All right, that's one I'm using, and you'll see it in, I think, 1.98 or 99 or something like that as well. This little checkbox here, that will open up your trade or send the data to your trade journal, and then you can open up your trade journal here. Okay, your web journal. All right. So that's the. I hope that helps you, Rob. So I really like this trading journal, and it has helped already immensely start to understand what's going on in here. So like yesterday, fine, you know, had a just a slightly down day at the end of the day here, and then today we'll see if we mark to market here. But you can look at your bigger picture. You can look at the week here, and then you can pick the times as well, and you can look at your equity curve for that week only, right? And all of this data over here, as well as all your trades taken, will be reflected from your filter here by the dates. Okay, so if we go back all the way, I think March 21st or something is what March 21st, you can see all of my data in here. Okay, and overall profit, loss, etc. We can be realistic with this. It really gives us some good information here. Here you can see the kind of down day, you know, the pullback here. Here, nice little up day, and here as well. That kind of kick things off, and then lots of small trades in here, but you know, taking profits, and profit profit ratio here, wins to losses here. Be realistic with this. You know, this I don't know if this is, it's not bad. I mean, 66%. I would like to see it actually be a lot lower, and I would like to see it be a lot lower, but I would like to see the MAE over here be a lot less and the MFE be a lot higher. There's actually a little bug in here, but I would love to see that, and that would give me good insight that, okay, I'm not always profitable on each trade. I'm taking lots of small losses. In here, I can see that I'm not taking lots of small losses necessarily. And this is an example of not taking small loss in here, right? Just by demoing this, this idea here. Okay, so we'll see if this works out still, right? Because we're looking at a bigger range now. So we're still looking for the bigger picture here. You can see our stops are up here. And we also have some stops below, or take profits below here. And the bigger picture, though, is this entire range. So we're going to see. And we're going to look at here. Here we are coming down. Now, we made on the 15-minute chart, we made a lower high here. Okay. So now, it did break this range here. Okay, on that 15-minute previous candle. And we're coming back down here. So I'm looking for a break here at this point. I'm looking for sellers to explore. They've already explored it 1, 2, 3 times. This will be like the 4th. Or we can say the 3rd or the 4th, I don't know, whatever. But it's coming down here to retest again. Right? I am looking at this point for sellers to try to explore further because it already has today. Is this? Oh, I'm sorry. This was something else here. Well, we haven't gone down and explored the lows here. That's for sure. Okay, down to 21. All right, so let's go back here. So 21 is, yeah, it's way down here. All right, so yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's pre-market, right? Yeah, I'm looking for sellers to come down here, and then I'm looking for sellers to mount their pressure to explore further. All right, make sense? Never move your stop. I agree, Stephen or Steve. We kind of went from this concept of this trading range in here to a bigger trading range, and then to give us a little leeway to go through this concept here. That's all. Oh yeah, absolutely, Steve. Best to take the first stop loss and re-enter. Absolutely. This is the best way to go. Absolutely. So maybe we'll demo that, like put in some really tight stops. It either works or it doesn't. If it doesn't work, we take a small loss, and we take several. And then we wait and hold our runners. Okay, and look for managing the winners. Yeah. This is a hard lesson to learn, a really hard one to learn, yeah, the something to consider to demo here in the trading. And again, use this we're doing it forward in live mode, but it is in sim, right? It's not a trade recommendation here, but we're going through this concept in here. And how does this make you feel so far? Well, yeah, I know that this works at a certain point. It's just, where is the range? I'm looking for now this bigger range in here. We even put one more limit up here if it was going to kind of hit it and then maybe fail. But let's see here. And let's see if those sellers show up now and try to move price down into this liquidity at 124. It's a good point, Stephen or Steve. That we should probably demo that. Just take lots of small losses, and just it's like no skin off our back. Just take the small losses, and then let those profits run. Okay, and really nothing to do here. We're just kind of waiting and watching. We're still with the trend. Okay, now we're starting to approach that swing. So this is going to get really interesting here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so now I have one take profit at the bottom of the range here. That's pretty tight. We'll likely test this here. But do I want to move this guy down to here maybe? Maybe that's a good idea. So let's do that. Okay, so now I moved my limit take profit just in front of that 124 liquidity. Okay, we made a lower high here, and then we have some pretty high liquidity in here. We can cancel this order, so now we're looking for this to trade not only to the bottom here, right here, not just to the swing here. We want to trade through it. Okay, because this is our next attempt down here. So we're looking for follow through. We can see the buyers up here didn't make it. Okay, there was a big squeeze in here. We were part of that squeeze. Okay, now we're looking for sellers to mount their pressure and to drop through this area here. Okay, that's our it's not really a setup. Like I said, it's a range, and then we're managing our risk within that range. Okay, starting to find some buyers, some profit takers down here. Okay, are we finding those sellers starting to mount? No, in fact, it totally exhausted out here. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a shot here. Would have hit our target. We probably wouldn't have gotten filled there. Only 19 traded there. Okay, how's the bid look? Well, the bid's starting to mount. A little bit of pressure in here, right? Look at them bidding up in here. Again, we're going to stick with this bigger picture plan. And we're looking for sellers. They've tested down here. We're looking for them to test further, explore. All right, Rob, let's see what you got here. Got your trading statistics as well. Okay, great. So, Rob, did you get access to the trading journal? Okay, I think that'll be really helpful for you. that'll be able to you'll be able to answer a lot of questions, about some very simple questions. There's not a whole lot of data in here yet. This is our first, stab at this trading journal, but we want to see, uh, just from what we have in here, we can see quite a bit of insight. Okay, just making fresh lows here, or at least from the swing here, and you can see some profit taking coming in. Okay, we should see a really nice stop run down here. If any of the buyers in here are going to feel the pain. We see the stop. Everyone's getting killed. Stop run to the downside, stop run to the upside, and then it just is stopping people out on the way down as well. But still looking for a test into this high liquidity here. Again, sticking with this bigger plan here of sellers, more sellers. The direction is sell side, and we're retesting these zones in here. So we're just looking for the sellers to explore these areas here. And we had to kind of modify this into that bigger range here, you guys can see. Okay, all right, so we just got filled, and just in front of that high liquidity here. Okay, so now where do I have my final take profit? Well, I have it at the low of the day here, or low of the day here. Just looking for still sellers to explore lower. Okay, now we may move that as we start to come down here. In fact, let's move it. Let's move it down. We might get a big day today. Okay, so how about what, 18 or 19 here? Maybe we'll get a gap fill in here. Okay, again, see the selling pressure. The 15-minute chart was giving us a pretty good insight here. Okay, we started from the daily and the move down, and then the hourly, and then it went totally against us, back up into these wicks in here. We thought we'd get the break here. We didn't. So, and we layered into a smaller range in here. Well, it traded the bigger range. Now the retest back down here, we're looking for the break. Now where's it going to go? Now we're in the markdown period, so we're looking for liquidity as targets on the way down. So Rob, what kind of criteria are you looking for in your setups? Again, we talked about context for years, and here I'm going to move my take profit down even more. Okay, I'm starting to see a lot of momentum come in. Okay, and where am I going to move it? Right? Am I going to move it down to this liquidity here? Okay, maybe I get a really big move here. Right? Maybe all of this buying in here. Maybe our measured move is this now. Okay, this range here to this range here. Let's go with that just for the sake of the webinar. All right, so I'll just front run that a little bit in here, and that's where I'll get out. Okay, now on a day like today, I don't know about that though. Like maybe we're looking for a much bigger move, and we know it's kind of range bound day, or we already had some data and we have more data. Okay, but here's our test down to here actually. So actually, this is not a bad place to take some profit. Okay, but we only have one bullet left. All right, so what about the momentum in here or here? Well, maybe we can come down into on the daily down to like 5100, another 19 points away. If we're trading that smaller time frame, going below this wick here and testing it, this has been the first test down here. So I am looking for buyers to move it back. I'm looking for a pullback now, right? So maybe, yeah, the webinar ends in about 10 or 15 minutes. So maybe we will take our profit, right? So we'll move it back up in here. Now let's use the same idea of that range. Okay, where's our range in here? Well, we have this range, and we also have this smaller range here. Okay, so I'm going to put it down here at the bottom of this little range in here, right? And then getting filled in here. All right, now let's take a look at how's the book look. Well, there you can see high liquidity coming in here a bit. Okay, and there we go. Now we're flat. All right. Now the thing that now we knew this going into the the profit taking portion here, that this can be a really big move today. Okay, the reason though, well, the webinar ending, but also the retest of this this area here, we were looking for just the break here, okay, and the move down to here. Okay, bigger picture though, we might come down to like 104, or even like way down and fill the gap down here around 80, 83, 82. We might get a really nice move down here, right? So that's up to you on how you want to manage that trade. It's a great way to manage it, is just to keep it running. Look for that big move, and just we had to sit through this whole big range thing up here and manage that, and had to kind of edit our plan here, and then look at our plan here. Actually, it played out. Okay, here's our measured move down to here. Okay, I am looking for some profit taker, not only profit takers, buyers to retest back up in here. I am looking for a pullback. Okay, we see a lot of iceberg buying really picking up down here as well. Okay, we don't know if that's profit taking or not. Lots of liquidity getting filled here. All right, guys. Well, let's look at this here, because what we were demoing here was more of kind of a trade management idea, not a strategy. And because of that, like I don't know if it's we want to continue to do that. I don't know. This time it worked out, but this is going to skew our data as well in our trading journal, which is not good. It's just not. I don't like it. I don't like seeing like this big move up here like this, because now it's like, oh yeah, look, who cares? Like, this is kind of an anomaly here, or it's outside of our trading plan. This was something different. We will have other journals in the near future, so we can use one journal for those trade management ideas, and one journal for another strategy, and another one for another strategy, etc. But right now we only have one. Okay, so we kind of have to bear with it. All right, yeah, so and that's that. But let's take a look here. Let's see if we can get our pullback in here somewhere. Okay, lots of momentum here to the downside. Okay, trading into high liquidity down here. Okay, look at this auction down here in your profile. It's blazing through these areas in here, trading into high liquidity all the way down here through here, 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 here. Okay, so, and then lots of icebergs, and they seem to be stopping as well, right? So now we're going to look for some criteria in here for a potential reversal. And we're not looking for much in here because at the time of the webinar, we're looking for a short move here to the upside, a pullback. Okay, what is our trade criteria in here for that potential reversal on this time frame? I don't see any right now. Okay, here comes some buyers right now. Okay, great. Well, they should be able to trade up to 13 here. Okay, they've made it up to this swing here, and that's it so far. Okay, how does that look in here? Well, we don't see a transition taking place yet. Okay, we see a transition with the limits. You know, they got filled on the way down, but look at the on the bid, they're up in this area here. Okay, I don't see a whole lot on the bid in here. Okay, our trend is slowing down. Okay, that's good. Okay, now here come our buyers. Okay, now top of the range in here, of this little range right here. Okay, and then I would anticipate some sellers. Okay, look at our transition starting to unfold now. Makes sense? This is exactly how a head and shoulders pattern, why it unfolds. Okay, exactly. Trading into high liquidity, pockets of buying coming in, higher low, buyers coming in, and then here's our move. Right now, it's only come up to here. That's about all we're looking for. Now, it might come up to 17, or maybe it might even come back up into 23 up here, okay, where it broke from. Right now, look at our trade criteria. Okay, we saw this starting to unfold. We stayed away. We started to see this, and I wasn't quite sure. Yeah, we probably missed it in here, you know, could have at least traded it up to here and taken some risk off. But I missed it. All right, now I'm not looking for much. We're not looking for much in here because like this is just some profit taking before the end of the European close here. All right, but do you guys see that shift in transition now? Hindsight is real easy. Real time is it's a little trickier, and reversals can be tricky. Okay, but we do have the criteria though. Just didn't get aggressive enough. Look at the trend down. See how the trend flattens. Trend down. Trend starts to flatten. Here's our higher low. Here's our not much selling, and this is where our transition takes place here actually. Right in here at the head, and you can see that more selling over here. Let's just zoom in a little bit. More selling over here, more buying starting to come back in. Okay, now this move is done. It's done its move. All right, here's why. Maybe it's got a little more gas in the tank. It's pretty much done though. Okay, so we look for something else now. Exactly, Alois. We will be adding a notes column in there too, so you can put in your different strategies, not only different accounts but different strategies. Yeah, it's all on the roadmap for it. Exactly. Yeah, I really look forward to it. I really like this product. So you guys, are you guys utilizing the trade functionality in Bookmap? Can my long-term start? Oh, Rando, nice trades. Nice to stay with it. It's really not about that. It really isn't. It was about this whole idea of this kind of a zone, and then Maybe for those that are struggling, looking for that perfect entry with a tight stop, like maybe shy away from that and kind of think of a zone, an area, and then just trading small size. Now, there's a problem with that too. Let's say you do nail it. Let's suppose that we nailed it here on this pullback in here, right? This was our first little zone, and we nailed it here, but we only had one contract on. Okay, actually we had two on. We traded the top of it here. But whatever, let's suppose you only had one on. Well, then you only get a third or a fourth of your profit. However, it builds confidence, right? And then you're starting to understand, like, wow, okay, maybe it's kind of ridiculous to think like, I mean, with order flow, you can really pinpoint where you want to get in and out. But to soften that blow, just think of a zone in here where sellers took control, and where buyers take control, etc. Okay, so and then manage your trade that way. Now, we didn't do a very good job here. I appreciate it, Rando, but it's more about this concept that I wanted to demo. And we didn't have much criteria. Criteria we're going through now and earlier. So now let's go through more criteria in here. Now we have since this move is finished, okay, we can also look for now we have a new zone up here. We can look for criteria in this zone because this move is finished. So if that is the case, now we're looking at criteria in here. And we're looking at the context of buyers and sellers in the auction with their limit buy and sell orders, as well as the aggressors. Okay, and what does it look like in here? All right, so we have mostly buyers here, a little bit of selling coming in here. Okay, so yeah, it's just kind of choppy right now. Okay, here comes some sellers, and they're pulling that liquidity. Okay, so let's see if we can get a pullback here, though. Okay, so sellers trying to maybe move it away from this zone in here. Let's see. Okay, here comes our pullback. Okay, now you can look at a small high volume node in here as well. And there you go, something like that. Okay, so now again, not a trade recommendation. Now we're going to use Steven's, we're going to use real tight stop here, or tighter stop, and not real tight. And we're likely going to get stopped out, and we're not. Okay, so here was the retest back up. Look at the zone again, top of the range. Okay, and we got in here on this small pullback because I'm looking at a smaller range in here of this one. So it did it. I'm looking for sellers to take control here and then drop it. It came back up to the top of this range here. And now I'm looking for sellers again to drop it. Okay, now we know it's kind of choppy. Now we have one position here, and we could put another one up here. Okay, if we go with that zone idea. Right. Now let's take a look here. We have our range here, okay, and it's actually a little bit smaller of a range. It's more like this. So we're going to edit this one. Something like that. And we can move it down. Okay. And we got liquidity down in here as well. All right, so maybe I'll take my my profit down here. Okay, right around where this liquidity pulled earlier. I'm just going to keep it there as a placeholder for right now. All right, and here's our move. Okay, so almost got filled there. I'm going to put my stop at break even now. I'm going to cancel that one, and we're going to get stopped out at break even, or it's going to work. okay, because it just did this move here, and now we're back up above it here, and like I would rather get stopped out here, okay, and we are. So we didn't make anything off of that, okay, because I'm afraid of this happening at that point. I don't want to be stubborn here. It did this move, and it came pretty close to that measured move, and then we rejected here, and we came back up and find buyers. Though they're going to push it back up, okay, so I'm going to get stopped out at this point here. All right, does that make sense, Steve? Is that this is more in line kind of what you're talking about? This is a lot more aggressive management here. Just take a small stop or a break even. Okay, and there was reasoning behind that in here. Now there was a setup in here. There was criteria in here on this, and good. Thank you. I hope that was helpful for you. If let me know. Let me know how else I can, if you have any questions. But our trade management in here was a lot more aggressive. We're not trading this range at that point. We're looking for this to work. And if it doesn't, we're going to get stopped out. All right. Yeah, I really like what you wrote, though, Steve. So maybe we'll focus more on some of those ideas. All right, guys. Well, let's see. Oh, good. You find this helpful, how to trade Bookmap. Trying to keep it really simple. Again, let's go through the process one more time. And guys, if you have Bookmap, even the demo version, you can trade from it. Do it. It will be in sim. Play around with it. Use some of these ideas. Start to get a feel for it. This is how you do it. We're going to build out something for forward testing, and looking really forward to doing that with you guys. And we'll have some strategies we'll be kind of building on the fly, right? And yeah, it should be great. So let's go through this process one more time. On a minute, let me bring it up. Okay, so our top-down approach: fundamentals, economic calendar, bigger picture, geopolitical, technicals, big picture, daily, weekly, hourly, 15-minute chart. Okay, we had a strategy on. We did have criteria on that, and that worked out pretty nicely. We just had it go to the next range. On our trade idea. Well, it wasn't a trade idea, it was more of a trade management idea. Okay, other technical levels, previous swings. Okay, we covered that one pretty nicely today because our range was extended and it was to a previous swing. Bigger picture. Okay, so that was our technical. Looking at this, see the rejection up here? This is where candlesticks, I mean, it's nice, it's clear, it's rejecting, but you can really look at it in Bookmap, and that's going to really help. Is to understand the volume and the liquidity up in here, okay, on these moves. And then we already know that we tested down here. We tested up here several times, and it could never break through. And then we tested down here. I was looking for it to break on this candle. It didn't. We came back up. We had a lower high, and then the sellers came in, and we were looking for the break here. That was our bigger picture. We did have some criteria more or less at that time. Okay, we were just positioned in through this range in here. Okay, anyway, the drop unfolded, and then we can see we got a little more aggressive in here on the lower time frame. Breakdown, pullback, and then looking for another move to the, down into this area here, this previous liquidity, move to stop to break even. That's that. Look for the next opportunity. This was another. This had criteria here, but it wasn't It was a very low time frame, and we managed this completely differently than the other trade. Completely. Okay. The other one, again, not a trade idea. It was more of a management idea. All right, so our top-down approach. We looked at the previous swings, highs, lows. We looked on the daily as well, and those important levels. We didn't look at, well, we did look at some gaps. We did look at POC. We didn't look at VWAP. And we were inside on the day. So we started to develop some scenarios on where price might go, what it might do. Our bigger picture here scenario was basically this one here, okay, or down here in the range. Okay, the wicks up in here and the wicks down in here. And that was our scenario really that we were developing here. Right, and then we start to consider some strategies, okay, and setups. So we were looking for price exploration, a breakdown at this point, okay, and we had our reasons for it too. A retest back down here after failing up here, looking for the follow through, and that's when we saw here the retest up here. It could not make a higher high, and then we saw it on a low volume pullback start to come back down in these areas in here, but we even moved our limits at that point. Okay, we had one at the bottom of the range, we moved it back down to this one, and then we took our final one, we moved it down, and then we moved it back up. Okay, and our original idea was really good, our take profit down here, which would have gotten filled. Nonetheless, that's what we did. And then we look for another trade idea in here, and then got stopped out at break even on that. All right. So again, top-down approach and looking for our order flow in Bookmap. This is where you're really going to get the edge, though. Is the order flow is going to tell us, since we've gone through this top-down approach. Now, what does the order flow tell us? Okay, and then we look at our criteria and our strategies. From the Learning Center, we went over the flag pattern and the reversal pattern, head and shoulders. And then we went through a lot of trade management today. Okay, so hope that was helpful, guys. Please, if you like this, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is really helpful for us. Go to that Learning Center. Also sign up, get Bookmap. There's a free version, and you might as well. You can start trading, you can start exploring, you can come to these webinars, and we'll go through all of this, all right, in detail. All right, guys, well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. We will let's see, tomorrow JTrader is off. I think he's on tomorrow. Hold on, let's go to the Learning Center here. Okay. I think he is on tomorrow. Tuesday. No, okay, so I guess he is off. Okay, he's off tomorrow. Thanks, Dan. I wasn't sure if it was this week or next week. Anyway, you can look on the calendar here. So yeah, he's off tomorrow, but we'll also, you can see Scott Pulcini will be on Thursday though. Okay, Options Millionaire, he will be on tomorrow at 10:30. Okay, so you can go to that webinar. He's excellent. He has a very different way. It's kind of similar to this idea in trade management, because he's trading options, and you can do all sorts of things trading options with your trade management, which is pretty incredible. I mean, we all know that, but like you can hedge so much more. It's some nice ideas. So go check that out. And then Tom B is up next. Volume profile trader. Go to that webinar if you like, and we will we'll I'll be on Friday at the same time. We'll see you guys then. Oh, and we have the Bookmap Academy meeting on Thursday, market close. Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for coming, and we will see you next time. All right. Take care.